I think that even with Beyonce, Michelle is very successful. Not as it can work once you separate. But two people in the same space, somebody got to take the back row, and it's not going to be me.
You think so?
But no, see, unless it's in a different lane that I don't participate in. Like if it's a hair salon lane, because there's we're gonna break even, right? We're gonna break even, and that's gonna be fine. But at some point, I'm gonna feel like I want to do what I want to do.
Welcome to the Icon Theory Podcast, where we empower entrepreneurs to build iconic legacies. Today, we are talking about retirement and a few hot topics. So we're going to discuss how to retire and some 7- and 8-figure businesses that you can go into in retirement. I'm Garrett, one of your co-hosts. To my far right is Tanya Tymus Bellamy, my other co-host, and we have the amazing Meisha in the middle. She is a fellow entrepreneur, a fellow podcaster, and a salon owner. Welcome, Meisha.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Tanya, what we got today?
So we are going to be discussing some hot topics, specifically when it comes to the beauty industry to start off with. Because there have been a lot of things going on this week. You almost don't even know where to start. But we're going to start with this Beauty Supply Institute.
That's a hot mess.
It is a very hot mess.
It is a hot mess.
So this place, for you guys who don't know, it was founded by Professor Devin Robinson. So his whole goal with BSI is to transform people who want to become entrepreneurs to owning their own beauty supply companies. His pitch is similar to me of some of those pyramids, but I have never received the pitch.
Links.
Yes, I've never received the pitch itself. But what he's saying is there are $50 billion worth of sales going on every year in beauty supplies. Specifically, this is cornered by the Asian market. But 96% of those sales are geared towards African Americans and African American products. So his goal as a professor is to try to educate you guys on opening your own beauty supply and trying to take it back to our community. So
good concept.
It is a very, very good concept.
So where did he go wrong?
Well, you go wrong when you have 18 complaints on Better Business Bureau.
Wow.
And 10 this year alone.
Wow.
So yeah, apparently Professor Robinson doing some shows.
Yeah, I read up on it too, and I noticed that a lot of people were not getting their product. So they were ordering and not getting their product. And they were starting their stores like leasing space and weren't able to actually open because they did not have
the product.
All the product and everything. And that's really concerning because as someone who hasn't, for instance, someone who's never been an entrepreneur and they're seeking guidance. This is the problem with all these mentors out here. There are a whole bunch of mentors and coaches and a lot of them should learn how to be a mentor or a coach.
Or be successful themselves.
Yes. I think like their heart is in the right place. But their heart is probably in the right place. They're just making a few errors along the way. I think that, you don't think so? He didn't mean any harm.
Maybe. True. I don't know. But to me, some of the things that I read, and specifically some of the complaints, the way he formatted it, so much of the revenue given was for consulting fees. So some of the people paid upward of $20,000 for consulting fees. So clearly you can't get that money back because in his defense, he has consulted you.
That is true.
So,
but let's look at the deeper issue here. So when it comes to the beauty supply industry, it is, most of the consumers are African American, Black and brown. And we do know that most beauty supply stores are owned by mostly Asian American families or Asian families. So where's the disconnect there? That's the bigger question. And how do we get into that industry, because it seems that they tend to work together in order to build these supply stores to the extent that they are. So how do we get there? And why is it that there aren't many? So that's why I say it's a good idea that he had, because there aren't a lot.
Definitely, yeah.
I will say this, that they do have a chokehold on the industry. So if we, just like with clothing and stuff like that, when Black people get into this space, they don't have the connections. So we're going to have to charge more. When we do things, we have to charge more. And we know we don't want to pay more. We want to charge more, but we don't want to pay more. So I think that realistically, that's what's holding us back into that space. We don't have the connection to the vendor. I mean, everything's made in China.
True.
Everything's made in China.
Yeah,
so
it is.
So it's hard for us to really tap into that space the right way, the way they do it. So I think that they might win this one until we start making more products and doing things. They might win this one. That's okay, but they won't do hair like we did.
Right. I mean,
I don't know. They trying.
Right. Because actually, there are some good stylists.
Really?
I saw this salon online in New York, and they are literally doing all natural hair. And it's 24 hours. You can go in there any given time.
What I'm saying? Oh, we're going to get to that in a second.
Right.
These different concepts.
I pray that away.
Yeah,
I pray that away.
Let's pray it away.
I pray that
but
away.
specifically about this particular guy, when y'all were talking about, I mean, it is something that I think we all feel belongs to us. So for him to pitch these ideas to people, it is an easy sell. Now, I obviously don't know what his intention was when he was pitching it, but it sounds like an easy pitch. When you tell somebody this industry makes $50 billion a year, billion with the B?
I think people have to be responsible for their actions. At some point.
I do agree with that.
Even with multi-level marketing, like, nothing is quick.
But they are being sold a dream. I mean, and they don't know any better. So when you don't know business, you're walking into it starry-eyed. And you don't really know any better. You think that they're telling you the truth. And I mean, back to your point that, you know, most of the products are made in China. I still think that some of the Black people who have been able to develop these products and these brands, they have not really poured back into the community the way that they should. I do believe that, like Miel and what's the other one? Even or whatever. Is that
I
don't know.
I'm not sure.
But not only that, think about it. A lot of the Asian families, they are pooling together to open these stores, and they are pooling together to get the product here as well. Even though it's sold there, we have the ability to go to China. We may not be able to speak Chinese, but we have the ability to go to China and buy the products at low prices as well. We do it when it comes to clothing and all other things. So I do think that there is an opportunity there. It goes back to, we've had this conversation on several of our episodes about partnerships in the Black community.
Absolutely.
I do feel like there is a lack of partnership and joint ventures that go on in our community. And that's probably going to lead into our next question about Mary J. Blige and these Giuseppes.
Wow. I mean, we love Mary and her boots. And
you don't like them boots, tell the truth.
No, I do not like what they are releasing under her name. But I definitely think it speaks to that ghetto fabulous vibe that she has.
I mean, that's her brand. Her brand is ghetto fabulousness.
I would have liked to see something that could...
a little more classy.
Yeah, or that could have stood the test of time.
That's not her. It's not Mary.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you really think about it, you know, we were talking, like, what made her do a partnership versus starting her own brand? But that's what ties back to what I was saying, why we don't like to partner together and work together.
Yeah, I mean, with a name like Guiseppe, I don't know how she was approached, or, I mean, I think the star power right now is just ruling all aspects of, I don't know, all the consumer spaces, really. Absolutely. I mean, you put any celebrity on your brand, it gets a level of attention that, you know, you working hard, and actually in the lab, people don't really care about that. You know what I mean? If you can't put some star power behind it, it seems to just kind of fall by the wayside.
Well, that's the benefit for Giuseppe, but what about the benefit for Mary?
Them boots sold out.
Right, in a couple of hours.
Yeah, so she's going to do it. She's going to run it back.
Right.
Just like Beyonce did with Ivy Park. It just works. People
But
need
is
money.
that a good brand to reference?
I think if it sells,
yes,
it works. I think that Beyonce, and I even tell my team this, like, I think it works when, if I hire somebody and they're not successful, we're not going to make the same amount of money if you merge two popular brands. Even though we might not wear Adidas, a lot of people wear Adidas.
For sure.
So for her to, Giuseppe, I would say that was just probably what she liked and she did what she wanted to do. But me, Beyonce, I love Beyonce. I'm in the Beehive, so.
Not the Beehive.
All the way in. I think that her decision to actually merge with Adidas was genius. I think she needed that. She tried it on her own. She did House of Darion. It wasn't successful.
It wasn't it.
Well,
Okay.
I guess
she
the
needed
reason
a
why
partner.
I
She needed a
said,
partner.
is that a good one to reference? I mean, obviously she just launched Sacred. But before that, I mean, we talked about the House of Darion. I can't remember. Miss Tina, she had a brand in Walmart for a short amount of time. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Ivy Park, I just felt like it's always, like all of her brands to me, it has all this fanfare when they're released. And then you don't hear anything about it.
Isn't that
anymore.
all
Ivy
of
Park
them?
is doing well.
But that's all of them. Even Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, all of them have had like brand deals and they come and go. Even S. Carter. I mean, we wore those for a little while.
I don't even know what
That's
that
not
is.
their lane. That's
only
not
been
their
for a
lane.
short
Yeah, that's
period.
not their lane. So they're
Yeah.
just coming in, bop, bop.
Yeah, it's
like
just,
bop, bop, and
that's
I'm out.
it.
Yeah.
It's only been for a short
I
period
guess
of time.
You like longevity. You
Right,
you're not wasting your
and
time.
obviously, I do know that Giuseppe is one of my favorite brands and have been around for years. So I was excited to see what the Mary boot was going to look like. But honestly, I you know, it may be my age group. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. I don't know if I want to be walking around with a little Star
The
Trek
babies
boot
bought
on.
them.
You
They
know what I mean?
They baby
They
bought
cute.
us.
I think they're cute.
I think they're cute.
For you,
Yeah, for that, I wouldn't wear them because I don't wear that
you're
much
going to
flash.
buy them and then sell them.
That's a lot of flash.
You're
That's
gonna
a
decide.
lot of flash.
But the thing is that she attracted a market that Giuseppe would not have normally had. So that's a win.
100%.
Yes,
That's a
definitely.
win.
100%.
So now same thing with
Definitely
Adidas.
for them.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's
for them.
why that's when it makes sense, because if not, you're going to compete.
Yeah.
Right? If two people that are on the same, they're going to compete.
That's
like I want to
true.
be she was like, I'm gonna design it, y'all promote it.
Yes.
But if they were singers, it wouldn't have worked. That's why
That's
she couldn't
true.
be in a group. She couldn't do it. Beyonce is too big for a group.
Well, they're getting back together.
I don't think they will. I think they're okay with being sidekicks.
No,
I
they're
don't
going
think-
to get back together.
And they will be background singers again.
So
Again.
one thing, I don't know if either one of you are anybody aware of the price tag on the Mary boot?
They were
I will.
$12.95.
I thought they were more than that. They were only 12.
Yeah,
That's still a lot
$12.95.
for a Murray fan.
I mean, I think that's.
I mean,
reasonable. That's what it
unfortunately,
is.
that's what
how much
designer
all
boots
this
are going
costs.
for these
No,
days.
that's how much designer boots cost.
That's how much
Most
all
people are
designer
not.
boots cost.
Most people not buying designer boots. People be wearing fake for.
Oh, really?
And I'm glad y'all don't know. Fake and fugazi.
Fugazi. What is it?
My client recently told me that you can buy a pair of shoes with a box, with a dust bag, and it be artificial.
No, I have seen that.
And and that to me is
Really?
just your mindset, because you would invest in something that's not going to give you a
Yes,
return. But
because
go for it, sis.
Someone
Go
did
for it.
post a picture of some fake red bottoms that they bought their mother for Mother's Day. I said, those are not real. You can look at them and
People
tell.
doing it.
But,
People doing it.
Wow.
But I'm just saying, I just wonder why she didn't choose to do it on her own, because she could have started her
Would you
own.
bought a Mary J boot?
Because of Mary, yes.
I would not
If
have.
I liked it.
I would not have bought. I love Beyonce, but I did not get House of Darion.
Well, that wasn't cute.
I don't know.
You didn't get
I didn't
apple
even give it.
bottom?
I didn't. No.
Apple
Oh.
I didn't even get her fragrance, and I.
Oh, so I'm.
But I'm
bougie when it
I'm
comes
in.
to
I'm
fragrances.
That's why I didn't even mention that
I'm a
brand.
pre-
Like,
I'm
to
a
me, all of
pri-
hers
the
are.
fragrances.
I'm a prime
yeah.
example. I'm a prime example of being a huge fan, but I'm fashionable, and I'm not doing this with you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing.
But
So Murray, I wouldn't have bought your boot without it.
The Darion was not it at all. Not
Well,
even-
I think in certain
I know that
markets,
wasn't it.
I mean, because at the time when it was
Sorry,
out, I
babe.
lived in
Sorry,
the
babe.
South, and I saw more apple bottoms and more Darion than
keywords.
your heart could desire.
Because of
DMV,
We
we
wasn't-
real bougie in the
wasn't wearing
DMV.
them up
We real
here.
bougie in the DMV.
So
We
I
real
definitely
bougie.
think it sells in certain markets. You know what I mean?
for sure.
I saw a lot. And a lot of baby fat at that time as well.
Oh, what happened to baby fat?
I think her line was one of the ones that had a little more longevity than the other ones we mentioned.
And this was our age group because my young girl in the salon said she wore baby fat, and I just left it alone. Okay. I left it alone. That wasn't my moment. I'm learning.
One of my girls, Teresa Gonzalez, if you're looking at this, she was.
Her name.
I'm gonna call her.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it.
She was one of the buyers for baby fat, so she would give us all the samples.
Oh my!
She would kind of, show us some of the sample stuff. And really, the sample things were really cute. They didn't have it all logoed and all of that stuff. So thanks, Teresa, for a couple of cute pieces that you gave me.
You are funny.
But I'm just saying, that one, I think they did a good job with that one when we're talking about these brands. And I mean, Kimora was a model, so I don't know. I guess her celebrity came from being married to Russell. I'm not sure how, you know what I mean?
We clear where the celebrity came from.
Right. Well, yes. That's where it came from, I'm assuming. But I felt like her brand was one that's, kind of hung around for a while, longer than, like literally Darion, I swear I felt like it was here and then gone, all in 1 year. And I really sitting on the sidelines watching the sacred. Now, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't want her to fail. I'm definitely not saying that. But when we were talking about Mary, we don't really know her business acumen yet, because this is the first time I think that she's put her name on something that she's selling a brand.
She has the earrings.
But that's LL Cool J's wife.
That's
collab.
They're partners.
But it's still a collab, but that's not her lane.
What's
two people strong in the lane does not work.
Yeah.
Somebody, you got to have roles, and it can't be, I'm telling you,
I don't know, because even though Simone doesn't have a big celebrity name herself, I just always viewed her as the owner of the brand and the person who created the brand, because I guess that's the story that they told. So although Mary wears them, I just kind of took them as she loves her style.
They were partners.
Really? And they may be, but
I just thought they were like equal partners.
So tell me a time where two people that were strong in that lane and it worked.
I think two people strong in a particular lane
can
work.
If I can say what you mean,
I don't know.
Okay.
In a celebrity lane,
it could be a first
partnership,
anything.
So FUBU, and I might be taking it back.
By us?
Yes.
Okay, so
they kind of
that was David John.
Who? And the other two guys. The other two guys.
Who?
But what I'm saying
who was
is
it? Say it again.
The other two guys.
Exactly.
Along with that. Well, we still see
them. Who was it again?
So all three of them were very popular at the time. Unfortunately, I cannot remember the other two guys' names, because once they sold the company, they all went their separate ways. But I do think that they literally started, as Damon says, in his mom's house in the basement, built this brand together, worked the brand together, and they all were successful with it. They all went different directions from the time they sold it. But the other two guys are still successful as well.
Separately.
Yeah,
it can happen separately. I think that even with Beyonce, Michelle is very successful. Not as successful. It can work once you separate. But two people in the same space, somebody got to take the back row. And it's not going to be me.
You think so?
No, unless it's in a different lane that I don't participate in. Like if it's a hair salon lane, both of, because there's we're going to break even, right? We're going to break even, and that's going to be fine. But at some point, I'm going to feel like I want to do what I want to do. Because now I got to share my thoughts with you. Unless we think exactly alike.
Why is that, though?
It's just not intentional. And I'm very workable. But I'm being realistic that at some point, we're going to bump heads, because my strong ideas are not going to match your strong ideas.
Right. So what happens to compromise?
It's going to go but so far.
Really?
Well, all of that has to be built in your contract, I feel like. Having certain things that
I don't know. I think that it's possible.
I think it's possible in what type of space? Maybe I think if any space it could work is hair, because we can be behind the scenes. We don't need to be in front. But when there's something that you have to be a label or to represent it, it has to work. It's usually going to be.
So I think that if two people get together and they clearly define their roles, and you're very clear up front with, look, this is where I'm strong, this is where I'm weak. And even though we may be strong together in certain areas, but if the roles are clearly defined and what you do and this is what I do,
You're agreeing with what I'm saying, though. You're agreeing,
really?
yeah, because you're saying that we can't be strong in the same areas. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think if
somebody has to be weaker in an area and be okay with it, and the other person has to be weak to allow that person to do what they need to do. So, if not, I'm going to interject often. It's just.
So I think that two people can be strong in the same area, but you define who's going to play the major role.
Mm-hmm. And you better do it well. Because if I think I can do it better, I'm going to challenge you.
That's because you're a Leo.
Very well be, and I am a leader.
That's why.
I am a leader, baby. Yeah.
That's just your personality.
It is my personality that I feel the need to. If I feel like I can do it better, I'm going. Especially if the business start getting weak, things start getting shaky.
But see, how does that work for you in relationships? Because even in relationships,
I didn't
want to bring it up. No,
I ain't gonna say. She said you were going to bring it up. She didn't want to. All right, so go ahead, because I'm ready. All day.
No, because how does that work? Because you two could still be strong in a particular area and get along relatively well. But if he comes to you strong and says, no, Meisha, this is what we doing.
He has to be qualified. If he's not qualified, we're gonna go at it. Because I have to feel safe. If I don't feel safe in any situation.
Well, I think security is important.
Yeah, so he has to be qualified to give me that.
Yeah, I definitely think security is important, and them holding a certain posture.
That's it. That's what I said.
The relationship is definitely important.
Very important.
But still, at some point, when do you come into your feminine space and just bring it down a few notches?
I think that I can't help but to be feminine because I'm a woman, like all the way. Like I'm dainty, so I don't even know how to do things that other women do, like car stuff and trash and. I don't know how to.
And I think being in a feminine space is more mental and emotional.
Submissive.
Outside of that, so you take that.
Okay,
not physically.
Yeah. So again, right?
Yeah.
It's going to naturally happen if I'm in the presence of a man, even without a relationship. When I'm in the presence of a strong alpha male, I don't have a choice but to submit. Even in an environment with women that are qualified, I'm going to be like, oh. Okay, I'm gonna listen to what you say. But if I don't feel like he's qualified,
right,
I'm gonna sit there and I'm be like, you ain't know what the hell you talking about, and I'm gonna sit here, but I'm not gonna stay long.
So see, you do. So you will like pull back some.
If I had the right man, I would collab in a business, but they would have to be qualified.
Gotcha.
If not, I'm not even going to acknowledge that it's even happening because it's like I know what direction it can go.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I think we all, I can only speak for myself. When I get ready to say we all feel that way. I think you do want the man to be qualified to lead. And if they are strong enough to lead, I think that's just nature of a woman to submit. But they also have to know that there is a very strong side of you, And if they can't, we have this all the time, this conversation all the time. I don't come to you in disguise. You're going to know who I am as a woman. And either you can handle it or you can't. And a lot of men, honestly, cannot.
And I think that's the problem. I think that we're giving these men spaces they don't belong in. I'm not going to let you.
Is that just the people that you're choosing?
No, I think no, because I'm in a good situation.
Overall.
No, I think that overall it can be a situation where if you're in a situation with a man and you have to submit and you don't feel safe, that's a problem.
Then it's the wrong person.
Right. So I'm not going to ever tell a woman, because you don't have to give instruction on how a woman or a man to be when they're in the right situation. That's what I think. I think this whole soft girl era is kind of tricky because it can permit a lot of things that are inappropriate. Okay. I think that as women we should automatically. I think that in some cases it can, because it should be about us. If we're going to be feminine, it should be to serve us.
Yeah, not really.
Not for a man.
I think it's too that people feel like you always have to be one or the other, but we are empowered enough that we can be all of that.
I agree.
So it's not about being one or the other. Like definitely. I can still be soft and still be very clear, very direct,
absolutely,
and very firm,
absolutely,
in a very soft and gentle way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It doesn't require me to be.
I agree. Yeah. But I think that a lot of times for relationships to work, you have to be who you are.
Right.
And so I think that if you're in a relationship and you're not if you're forcing this feminine energy, it's probably not. Sure. It's probably not with the, like you said, with the right guy.
Now that's 100% true.
Now, so I think that if you're in a space, I just think it's a natural instinct. Even though I'm a leader in my relationship, I do not have the space to go but so far, because
that's true.
He's going to check me.
Yeah,
he's going to check me in a way that's going to make me feel like I'm not even going to challenge you.
Right.
Because I respect you enough to know, okay. And trust me, I don't challenge you because that's my nature, is to try my hand. But he's strong enough to know that, listen, and you know what else he does? He's encouraging for me. Like, he bosses me up in a major way.
Yes.
That's
baby. Even when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm all right. He like, no, you are a boss.
Yeah.
Get it. He like, get it. Put it on. Give it to him. That's what he does for me. So I think that you have to find the person that's right for you. Is our relationship perfect? No. But he's perfect in that aspect, that he does make me comfortable in who I am.
Yeah.
That's important. And that's important.
That is really beautiful.
Yeah.
That is.
I think that is. I had to learn that, because you hear things and it makes you feel like you're not feminine enough. And it's not.
I think femininity is something that just you are. I don't think that all women are that.
No,
okay?
Definitely not.
And that's when you say stand in who you are and where you are. And if that's who you are, you meet someone who likes hard women. But you know, I do feel like you probably catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Child, I don't want no flies.
Or bees.
I don't know what
I want a man that's gonna make me my best self. That's what I want. That's what I want. But there are some women that want to be kept and want to be taken care of, and I think that's beautiful. I will absolutely love that experience.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. That's what I'm saying. I think that it's amazing if you feel comfortable and you feel loved, because sometimes I can go on. I want a husband. I want a legacy. I want to have something, because sometimes, and not all the times, definitely there are women, you know, we both deal with women all day long. And sometimes being kept can keep you limited.
Yeah, but it's a balance. You still can be both.
Yeah, and
I think a lot of times women think they have to be one or the other.
I don't.
You can be both.
You can be both. Absolutely. All day, every day. I think you
can be both.
You gotta find your space.
I mean, because everyone who knows me knows that I'm going to operate in my feminine power.
Absolutely.
But I'm also going to be very clear, very direct.
Because you're not going to disrespect me.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're not going to, and I'm going to say it with a smile.
Oh,
no, that's not the way you're going to treat me.
Absolutely.
Right.
With a smile. I'm not going to say, oh, no, who the fuck you think you talking to? I'm not doing that. That's an extreme. So that's what I mean when I say.
No, we grown. We passed that. Now in my 20s.
Okay.
In my 20s. I done did it all.
So what I'm saying is,
we're grown now.
There is a way to do it both ways.
Absolutely.
But people think that soft girl era means that you can't be firm and you can't be direct and you can't be strong. People think that means that you're being walked all over and people are taking advantage of you. And that's not what that means.
Just like multi-level marketing, it can be very misleading. There are successful people in multi-level marketing.
They are.
Yes.
I'm
so
pass
I think
on it, though.
and I'm gonna tell you this, and I will say this: my comes from multi-level marketing. So you did that before?
I've done it. Which one?
I did. I wasn't successful because I'm a leader. They need followers. But definitely. I was in a circle. 100%. I was in a circle 100%. Of money. Let me tell you something about me. You put me in a space with money, I'm going to want more money.
Well, so
that's all I needed. I needed to see that money was available at that level. Like my girlfriend was making a good amount of good amount of money to me at that time was a good amount of money. You probably wasn't thinking that was a good amount of money because you was already making more. But for me, that was like, wow.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. And it got me to where I am now because it was like...
It opened your way of thinking.
That's it. And I think that even with femininity, I think if you're not completely expressed, a lot of these women, I'll give Carisha, she wants to be kept. But is she happy? Absolutely not.
She's not feminine.
Okay. I mean,
that's why I said I think the definition gets tricky because the way a lot of people promote this soft girl era is really being a kept woman. It's a nice way of saying.
That's not what a soft girl is.
That's the way they.
Wrong example. That was wrong. Let me give me a little.
Well, that's the way they promote it.
Yeah,
you see it a lot of times.
When you said
it's not a kept woman. A soft girl is not a kept woman.
Do you want to be married?
Yes.
Do you feel like the relationships where you're being taken fully? Do you feel like you're close to marriage?
No.
That's why it wouldn't work for me. Because I'm on a path to legacy.
But I'm not in a relationship.
Grandma need a husband.
I'm not in a relationship.
If I'm gonna be a grandma, I need a husband.
Yeah, so I'm nowhere near. I'm nowhere near that.
But that's how you get there by being. But that's the thing.
So I'm not dating. Let's just put it that way.
But when I said what I said, you said it's beautiful. You'll love it. So I'm guessing you're experiencing some type of experience in your femininity.
Yes.
Where you're in a relationship with a man.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, you're in a situationship.
I'm not in nothing.
Okay. Then okay.
I'm not in anything at the moment.
All right. No. Okay. That's what
But see, I think
But like you said earlier, you were like, it's for us. Right. And me being in my femininity, it's not connected to me having a man. It's not connected to that.
That's good.
It's just who I am.
But that's me. I think that is a part of I believe in family and legacy. I do believe, I'm old school, I do believe a structure of a family should be a husband and a wife. So that's my mentality. I don't think it's wrong. I just think it wouldn't work for me because of what I want to build towards.
Me being single.
No, being married.
Oh,
being married, yeah. I feel like I'm closer to being married now. And it did take some of me softening up and me being able to communicate without being demanding. Me being able to allow him to lead. But I think that I wouldn't be happy. For me, I have a responsibility in the community. So I need to be
strong.
I need to be active. No, I'm strong, but I'm active. That's different. I think that for me, I need to be, and that's not, can't relate because my purpose is to build the community. That's a big thing for me.
So how does that interfere with you being in a relationship? Or
it doesn't. Oh, absolutely. He motivates me. He inspires me. He encourages me to be who I am because that's who I am. That might not work because you want to be able to sit back. I have so many things that I want to do. I need to be able to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's.
And it is important that you find a partner that is okay with you being out there doing that.
Yeah.
And I want somebody who speaks to. You ain't got to do nothing.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but when I say that,
I've been running my whole life.
It does feel like either or. You say it's not either or, but most men who are going to give you the space to fall back like that, they want bills on the table. They want you like. This is just my experience.
You said that in one of the episodes.
This is my experience.
No, I agree with her on that, though.
They do want things in a certain way. And that's why I say, are you still allowed to be who you are?
Yes, because I think Dawn is that even
you can.
I think she is.
And it's like it's not saying that you do nothing, that you sit home and you knit all day. You still run your business. You still do the things you do. But
what if it interferes? But you can't always do that.
Yes, you can if you have enough staff.
I've been in business for myself 37 years. Should I have said that? But anyway, a long time.
That's amazing.
A very long time. And it just doesn't always, well, at least the type of businesses I've always had, they don't cut off at a certain time. Even I was off on Saturday. I probably got 3 calls. So, like the days that I am off, sometimes it's like I am getting ready to go into a Zoom meeting or something else outside of being in the salon, and it might be a call to come in 2 minutes before that happens. And I know we talked about this. You're kind of like, let them handle it the way they do. But I haven't grown to that yet because I am more of the mind that I want it to be correct, not just done.
That's what operations manual.
Yeah, and that works.
But people don't always follow it.
That's Dawn. That's Dawn.
Yeah.
She's a person. She doesn't really want to deal with the people like that. I love dealing with people.
So y'all two are alike, but I feel like I'm going to put systems in place and let them deal with it. Because
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna do that too.
No, listen, the employee handbook is 39 pages. And you know what I'm saying? It's not like systems are not in place, but there is always in this type of environment things that you just haven't seen before. Something gonna always come up that's different.
But you have somebody run that. So I see what Dawn is saying. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that this, I'm not talking about working in the salon. I'm talking about in the community. Like I'm going to open, I want to make my community better.
Right.
That's my passion. Right. So for me to be not active with people, it's not aligned with my purpose. That's not your purpose. So I can see
100%.
And I think that that's why you're able to that's why your softness looks like that. my softness looks like when I come home.
You're soft.
I'm soft.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm letting it all.
Yeah,
I'm leaving it all at
baby.
the door.
Yeah, that's it.
And
he's going to encourage me, and I feel safe.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that that's what works for me. But I think when we talk about things, we make a right or wrong, and I think it's so many different spaces in it. And I think
a lot of ways.
Your people are your people that I think you should get them to do. Give them the tricks of the trade, baby.
I ain't got no tricks of the trade.
But you got some tricks of the trade. We ain't gonna put it on there.
I don't have any tricks of the trade.
You're good. You're very good at everything that you do. You're very good at everything that you do, and I think that works. And I think that's not. You're very, and you happy. I know what I'm saying. You're very happy. You know what I'm saying? You're
Life is amazing.
Yeah, and I know that. I got that when you said
amazing.
It, but I think the details was not what I thought. But you're happy, and that's it. And I'm happy, and hopefully, you're happy.
Yeah, everything is amazing.
Yeah,
and I love to be everything that I want to be.
Yes, and I want you to be, and I'm rooting. I admire you for what you do, but for me, it's just a different story. And I think that works for when people start realizing what's good for you.
Yeah,
period.
Period. I mean, that's why we definitely all have our own story, and our own truth.
And it's a way, but it's like a lot of people have to be able to identify what that is, and understanding that I can be both. Mm-hmm. I can be happy today and sad tomorrow, and that does not mean that I'm depressed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm going to be super strong and aggressive, and then sometimes I'm going to be like a little kitten over here. And it's okay for me to be all of that, but I don't have to come off in a harsh, aggressive way in order to get my point across. I don't have to be, extremely docile in order to be considered soft. It's like that balance of being all of it.
That you've mastered.
However you want it. A lot of women have mastered.
I think that one thing that I think we all should agree on is that women should not be aggressive. Period.
I
don't permit that in any space, even when I feel me being triggered. And I think y'all got to talk about that.
Yeah, when we're talking about aggressive women, definitely talking about the Marjorie Taylor Greene situation that has happened. This week, I don't know when we will air this, but that has happened.
Yeah, it did happen. How would you have handled it? I mean, break it down. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a state representative. I forgot what state she's from.
Listen, I'm listening to all of the things that you guys said, and I handle every situation accordingly. There is still an aggressive side of Miss Tanya Tymus Bellamy. So I can get aggressive.
She was aggressive. Miss Jasmine.
Yes.
She's a state representative from Texas.
Yes.
She was really aggressive with her response. I did see where she tried to be as tactful as possible, but you could see that the steam was raising out of her.
And I definitely think people can take you out of your space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, the great thing about what we all do, we don't have to deal with that on a daily basis. 90% of the women who come into my space are African American women. Mm-hmm. I hear the stories of them being disrespected and handled in a way that they don't like on a daily basis. So I think I'm sensitive to it because I hear the stories, but not so much that I've had to deal with it. I have kind of made my own way, as I said, for 30 some odd years. So I don't have a pecking order, or I don't have to.
But it could come in other ways.
Oh, it definitely comes in those streets from time to time.
Because I get approached with the
craziest
things.
Yes,
because especially being in real estate, you probably deal with
the nice nasties on the regular basis.
How do you deal? How would you?
I'm very calm. Even
that's
with
your
and I would say even with like my ex-husband's wife, that mouth.
See, I think that's different. We all deal with that.
I am tactful.
But I am thinking in terms of this white woman.
Skills. Because I'm sure you got
You know why? Because I don't care.
Yeah.
And once you get to that place where it's okay, and I think the bigger issue with where the aggressiveness comes in is most people need to go to therapy. Like, I went to therapy for years to get to this place. But I think you need to fix what is causing you to be angry, upset, and frustrated. I'm not going to let someone just make me that mad.
Not that mad.
Now, if I come off a little aggressive, I might be intentionally doing it.
And that's what, and I thought that this was very intentional.
It would be intentional.
In this situation, it was very intentional.
It's a strategy.
Because
it was,
Marjorie Greene obviously has a reputation for talking to people any kind of way. So to me, her response, because she said, I'm looking for clarification, but you can't come at us sister girls and not expect.
And just for clarification,
yes,
basically, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a Caucasian Republican from, I want to say Virginia. I don't remember where she's from, but she made a comment to Jasmine Crockett, who is a Black representative, and Jasmine was saying that she couldn't read something or couldn't see something. She said, "Oh, is it because of your fake eyelashes?" Jeez. That's just like, why would you say that to a Black girl, right?
Right.
So Jasmine went back at her.
Yes.
What did she call her?
But honestly, she didn't go at her.
So she did bad built.
Yes. But what she said was she was asking for clarification from the speaker. So she said, for clarity, if I say bleach blonde, bad built body, so she was really talking to him, not to her. But the read was so evident, baby. She came through with the read.
But I mean, like, what makes you think it's okay for you to say that to somebody? Like, you know, even with the fake eyelashes or whatever. But what makes you think it's okay? And that's the whole
point that she was trying to make.
Say that.
So is it okay if I say this? Because obviously it's okay for her to speak on my appearance. So if it's okay. So the way she framed it was quite ingenious, I thought.
And I mean, the thing is, it's kind of tricky because part of you wants to take the high road.
You should.
But then part of you wants to prove a point. You know?
Shouldn't. Not in that space. That's just not in that space.
I feel like she should have just kind of taken the high road. That's what
I don't agree with that.
That's it.
You felt like the read was necessary.
Oh, I definitely felt it was necessary because for me, I spent some time in the South and then I lived in Mississippi for like a year. Literally no longer than that. And what you have to understand when it comes to certain white people, they have still in this day and age. Now, I lived in Mississippi back in 2016. I'm not talking about no super long time ago. And the Black people there, in my experience with the Black people there, they were so conditioned that they knew when to pull back. So I do feel like Jasmine Crockett needed to say that because, as we said, Marjorie Greene has a reputation for talking to people any kind of way and saying anything. And if you're not conditioned to accept those ways, somebody needs to challenge her. And if the speaker isn't going to do it, he didn't even know what was going on. What are we talking about? He didn't even know what was going on, honestly. I do think that it is important to put people in their place and let them know where you stand and let them know that you won't tolerate that type of behavior. Because to me, if she would have taken a higher road, it just would have been ongoing. And until you draw the line and stop it, especially in that particular situation, because they have to come together in a workplace, you definitely have to set the boundaries from time to time. And the boundaries may not always be nice. If the delivery of her boundaries weren't nice, then you know what? I'm going to give it right back to you. Because sometimes you need to understand how it feels. Because I don't think they don't always view us in that way. They always feel like that we have to stay in our place. Even today, it is still times where they feel like they can say things and we're supposed to accept it and take the high road. No. And specifically, these millennials and these Gen X's, they have a voice that I sometimes need to put some earplugs in because their voices are so magnified. I definitely think people who have been a part of the Black Lives Matter movement and have seen the things that they have endured specifically during that time, I definitely think that they feel charged to speak up in those type of environments because to me that's
an interesting perspective.
I think because your experience is different. I think that's how you get triggered. If it might not have triggered me the same way because I mean white people probably have a different, but if I was triggered, it probably, and that's something I'm still working on because like you said, When you're still triggered, that means you still have work to do. And when you get triggered and you react, that person then has the power and the control. So I think that I get what you're saying, because sometimes it'd be like, okay, now you
right, it's time, right? You done did this last week. You gonna keep picking me. You're not gonna do it today. I don't know if I went that hard though. She went like, I think that I'm very sensitive to that as women, as we kind of shame people. So to me, that I think she went low with the shaming.
Yeah.
So I think that's for me. That's why it was hard. But definitely, she should have got with her though, for sure. She should have definitely got there with her.
I think that's a tactful way.
I think the shaming is hard for me to accept in any situation.
I don't think it would have been well received in the hallway
if it was tactful. Well,
I don't think the hallway it wouldn't have been received.
But even if she
in that particular situation, I don't think. Because honestly, I don't even think she would have stopped to talk to her in the hallway.
No, I ain't saying the hallway. I would have got it right there, but it would have been a way it would have been a more tactful way.
I don't think she would have heard it.
I would have just said this. What do you mean by that?
I would have to understand. Some people won't hear you.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What was your need to say
that? Oh, they asked her to apologize and asked her to strike.
No, I would have put. She would have turned pink. She would have turned pink.
She said she would not apologize. No, now I'm talking about Marjorie Green. She would not apologize.
No,
she would not.
But in that moment,
so that's what I'm saying. So I felt in that particular situation it was warranted because she was asked to apologize and she refused. So she ain't gonna listen to her in the hallway. If I don't come back with bleach blonde bad body right now, you won't hear from me.
So you think that worked for her? You think that made her feel? She thinks she's gonna be different behind that comment. I think she's gonna have
if she's not different, she won't mess with her anymore.
I think she will.
I think she will.
I think she's
why people not? They don't come from that. They don't come from that. She didn't receive it like we did.
Yeah, this particular lady, she's not gonna stop being negative because someone called her a bad name.
I don't think she's gonna mess with her anymore.
I think
we'll see how it goes. Now she might get her worker bees or whomever around her, but I do not think that she will mess with her anymore. I mean, it's very much that Karen syndrome. They love to talk trash until they're challenged, and then it's like, oh, I'm the victim. Oh, they called me this, or they did that.
And people will still talk trash after that.
Yeah, they still. I don't think Karen stops being Karen. Yeah, I think that it magnifies their belief about us, and that's why we have to be careful. I think we carry that narrative. We have to redirect it. That's just my opinion because I have not experienced with you.
Yeah.
So I don't have the space. I've never worked with a white person probably in my entire life other than a makeup artist. So I don't have that. I mean, if I had a white woman come into my chair, I dominate in my space. So it's not like she felt like she can try me at all. I asked her, what was that? I'm going where I'm going. I'm going to treat you like you treat me. Why, but that's the space but I don't know what it's like to have to feel like I can't.
Right.
So
I can't say that I've ever felt that way. I've witnessed it because I'm going to always show up as who I am. I mean, I was raised in Southeast DC. I lived here until I was, I moved to Atlanta in my mid to late 20s. And honestly, my first experience with racism was actually here in College Park, to be honest. I can remember myself and my then boyfriend, we were in a gas station over near Maryland University, and it wasn't built up the way it was then. And we were dressed a certain way, I guess. And he called me a nigga, literally, just a random guy in the gas station. Woo. It was like I was in the way or trying to get something. Now at this point, I'm probably 20 years old, maybe 19, I'm not sure. And my then boyfriend reacted in a way that I ended up getting. He was very defensive and came, I guess, as a 22-year-old, I guess, he came to my defense in a way a 22-year-old would.
Yes, he should. Now, that's different. Because we're not on the this was in the Senate. You said in the Senate building?
On the Senate floor.
That's what I'm saying, Senate floor. So it's different. Like and I tell people all the time, when we're in front of cameras, we don't have the space to do what they do. When we're in camera and we're in front.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think that we have to carry that.
I think you always got to show up as who you are.
No, I think that there's a time. I think it's very important to.
At the dollar store, at the Dollar Tree, I'm going to get in 2 years.
But I think there's a way to draw boundaries.
We have to. It's just the truth. We're in
But I think people are sick of that. They want. I really do think people are sick of that, feeling like I have to take the high road. I gotta wait till I get in the hallway.
No, it's not.
I gotta send the email. I have to.
That's not what I'm saying. But it's a way. It's a way to play the game. It's a way to do things. And sometimes when you put yourself in that same box as they've always put us in, it's dangerous. We need to come out of that box.
So think about if you're sitting in that situation, and honestly, it probably took so much for you to get there. That's who you are.
Absolutely.
And you're in this space right now. And this woman says what she says to you about your eyelashes. And then they actually ask her to strike her comment and apologize, and she does not. What would your response be?
I'd have said, I think it's sad in this time in America that you feel as a white woman that you can address me in that space. I feel like it's unfortunate for you. I feel like it's unfortunate because I'm not that black woman you can do that with. And I want better for you because this is what we're here for. And this government building is to make changes for the entire United States of America.
And see, that's a proper response.
Yeah, because
I don't know if
I don't agree with that. You're throwing a dagger in a polite way.
She didn't make it like it was a black and white thing. It was.
I would have made
it. But that's not the way.
That's our champion. That's our champion. That's our champion in every way. Make it a racist statement.
But she clarified.
Whether it is or not. Whether it is or not. Because you might not be aware of it. Racist. White woman. I'm aware. But this is the thing that we have to use our power in that way too. You are a racist because it's in your DNA.
And I think that's
in your DNA.
I don't think that today's Republicans give a damn about being called.
It's not about this. It's not about me and you. This is about the cameras that's watching me and you. You are retarded. Because I don't care about you. You're retarded. You're a retarded white woman.
No, because there's more. There's
you.
Well,
I'm not a white woman. So I'm talking to me.
I know. There's more to it. I mean, there's more to it, and I think it starts with how we raise our kids and how we tell them to handle conflict, because and part of that is teaching them how to handle conflict. That's not the way that you show young Americans.
Now listen, my children do not handle conflict the way their mom does at all. They are very
even with this whole situation, you know, she has to understand that it's bigger than just her.
Thank you, Dawn. And it's unfortunate that we have this space, but it's like no matter what you do, you have to, in order for you to get to where you want to go, you got to know where you are.
Yeah.
And this is where we are. And I think financially, we have a lot more power than we use. I definitely think financially, but to clap back and to put our trauma and to constantly promote trauma, reaction, foolishness, act stupid, fight. Take her down.
Yeah, like you gonna be crazy and I'm gonna be crazy.
No, baby. I want you to know that I'm just as educated and refined. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do it. I would have turned around.
So she didn't get educational refined when she made that statement.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna look better than you in this moment because you're trying to take me down, sister, and you won't. Because I'm not that black girl.
I don't know that I felt like
I'm not that black girl.
Or maybe y'all saying I have trauma. I'm not sure. But
I think I got trauma too. But I got trauma. Yes, I got trauma. I go on a regular basis.
Love the way she handled it, and I would not have changed it. Not one
and I love
single
that.
bit. Because
you support her.
I support her 100%.
And that's another thing we gotta do.
Because she spoke to the speaker. She didn't even speak to her. What I'm trying to ask you, speaker, is it okay for me to say bleach blonde? Butch built body. So she was trying to make him see that she was insulting her, and is it okay for her to say that? She didn't say it to her.
That's so passive aggressive.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
I think that we should love it in that aspect of cheering our sister on, that she stood up for herself.
Yes.
But we also have to take time to educate one another and say, listen, she stood up for herself, but we have to do it in a different way. Because some people don't feel comfortable standing up for themselves. So I would have rather her stand up for herself than to cower. But there is a third option that we forget in this process of us.
Be a little bit more tactful.
That's it. Just a little bit more. And I'm learning every single day more and more as to how to thankful to these videos and social media to be more.
Oh, wow.
Because I can turn it.
Listen, I'm going to act accordingly at that according time.
Get what you want.
Literally,
I'm going to give you what you want.
I mean, I don't get in arguments with people on a daily basis. I mean, constantly, I feel like I am clear about what I want, my expectations, what I accept, what I don't accept. But I can still go there, and I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
I don't go there.
Yeah.
And sometimes people directly are trying to be insulting. You have to not let them know that it's insulting.
Yeah, I gotta do my affirmations.
It's okay. That's the queen of affirmations over here.
Yeah. And it helps. It helps because, like I said, even with my team, it does.
No, I mean, it's okay.
I love it. It is okay. Nothing is that serious.
It's really not
Nothing
that serious.
Is
They're
that
just
serious.
Words.
Yep, and that's control. That's self-control.
But it's words that I don't want to hear again, so don't say them to me again.
You can say that. You don't have to.
I generally do.
Yeah, and that's better than just attacking somebody's character.
Oh, well, when I say that, that's what I mean. I'm not like,
I know.
I
don't think you would have did what she did. Even though you're championing it, I don't think you would have did that.
No, I probably would not.
And that's what we should hold up.
But I was here for it. I was here for it.
And I'm here for it too, black girl. If it's a black, I'm cheering for my black girl.
Yes.
But on the sideline, I'm gonna say, girl, you down.
We haven't even gone into the retirement stuff. Where are we at now?
I told y'all that I get to call. We're gonna have good girl time.
Yeah, we didn't hit a lot of our topics today, but
I had a great time.
Honestly, and of course we said we weren't even going to talk about Diddy today because it's so talked about. So,
but you said you had a different, maybe off camera. I want to hear your perspective about Diddy.
On what?
Diddy.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely not talking about Diddy.
Like I said, I'm not sure when this aired, but there was a lot this week.
There was a lot. It was all over the place, and there is always going to be a lot. I keep hearing a lot that the mom is a gangster too. Have you been hearing that?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When you have a child or any human being that is not appropriate, it comes from the household.
Yeah, I've been heard she a little gangster with it.
Well,
the blonde wig at 60. The blonde wig. The blonde wig and the
persona said that. I'm
not surprised. Yeah, we agree with that. No shame. No, I just talked about shame, and there's no shame, but I think that there should be growth. You should be able to tell when somebody's wrong.
Right. I'm going to say one thing about the Diddy situation, and then I'm going to let it ride. And this is pertaining to the apology. So when the document was filed a couple months ago, I really felt like the apology that he said yesterday, if it had been said at that time, I don't think this video would have, no, trust me, the video was horrible. But I do think if he had talked about being in a dark place and in therapy and trying to, months ago, it would have been a softer blow once we saw this video, because literally everything in the video was in the affidavit. So it's all been out there. But I think whoever handling his PR, or maybe it's him on his own just firing up live, but all of the money grabs and all of the situations that he was talking about before, I really think the approach should have been what he came out with yesterday. If he had started there,
1,000% agree.
It would be.
I read them in the comments. I done read them already. I done gave more.
I'm not really prepared to talk about it because I didn't listen to the apology.
Oh,
yeah.
I just feel like it's just too much. I'm not listening to that stuff.
Yeah, and I do think that he's still a black man, so I'm not going to go too hard on him because
he's pissed off the wrong person.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's another OJ situation. I feel
No.
We're
going to be accountable that there was a video that leaked and he beat that girl and it was inappropriate.
Not that per se. No, I'm not saying that.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the.
Let's be
I'm not black. Right? I'm OJ, and I do think when black men get a certain level of success, they can feel invincible, and our community is partly responsible for that.
And it's not it.
No, I'm trying to tell you, our community is partly responsible for putting them
not
up
our community. You think it's our community?
Heck, boy, yeah. Putting them up on a pedestal and making them feel that they. So a lot of them have
I can agree with you with saying that whoever's in that circle, you allowed this man to be who he was.
Right.
And I will even say, not anybody. I don't know what it's like to be in that situation, but I think that people I was even disappointed. I might be irresponsible. You might turn the cameras off.
Go ahead.
I think that with Cassie, I think that for her to take that money and not press charges, I wish she would have pressed charges. Because I think it carried that narrative to say, give me $35 million and I won't say nothing. I think she should have pressed charges. Because I think I don't know her mindset. I don't even know what it's like to be able to, because if it was me and Diddy,
deal with
that's what I'm saying, the trauma, I don't know what that trauma's like, because me and Diddy would have been in the hallway it would have been like a whole showdown. Because I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that.
But it's also back to being conditioned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So I just think I do think that we have to deal with it all, not to shame a person, but to get us to be in better places, to stop accepting certain things because of money.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
I said it.
Yes.
And I'm not saying
I know. And I feel so. I got emotional. I feel sorry for Cassie. I feel bad. I hate seeing that video, and I blame her mother first because you raised a woman that didn't feel that she should be able. It's just a lot of layers for me.
I don't know because
that's me. I tell you that.
Think about it differently. I've been thinking about it more from a sex trafficking situation, like the mindset of somebody who controls a human being in that way.
Understood.
Not so much about the abuse part. All of it is abuse, but there is a mental control that you have when someone is just laying there lifeless and you're still kicking them. She has been conditioned not to protect herself.
Did she tell her mother?
I don't know.
My baby, I'm telling you, and that's not even my child. Seeing that, I was angry.
But
so if I saw that
understand is when people are conditioned like
and that's
that,
what I said,
they won't leave.
And that's why I shouldn't speak about it. I can't relate to that, and I should not speak. And I think that that's me being irresponsible to speak about something I cannot relate into. I just want better for my people, my women, everybody. I want us to know your value. I want you to know your value because she's a beautiful. She's a beautiful. Her not even defend herself. She just kind of laid there and took it.
And she did leave at one point.
God bless you, and that took some strength.
Yeah.
So I think we're all.
I love that. I love that she got the strength, and let's give her credit for that. But she still took $35 million and then first charge.
And it wasn't. And I know that couldn't have been easy for her to leave with the trainer. You know, like
I think the trainer let him know. Like I'm going to tell.
Well, he stood up to her.
Yeah, because he saw some stuff. And he probably was like, I think it got to the point now that they told Diddy like, keep you better let her go because now I'm involved now, and I hope that's what that man that she's with now stood up for her. I hope so.
I mean, it's so
I don't
sad.
know, but it's sad, and I think that I wish that it never happened.
It's so prevalent in that.
It's common
in that community.
Yeah,
it's just so sad, and there's probably so many other women that's dealing with it.
And I hope that they saw that video, and I just hope anybody that's being abused to get the strength to tell somebody stronger than you.
Yes.
Tell somebody stronger than you. If you're not strong, tell somebody stronger.
It's so sad.
My God.
I know. It's so sad.
All right.
But this has been amazing. You know, I'm not gonna say anything.
That's your tactic, and that's smart. But like I told you, I'm transparent, and I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
So I know they're gonna say I'm not transparent.
No, that's not transparent.
I mean, no, if it's a subject that you don't want to speak on, that's
wisdom. That's wisdom. No, listen to that's something I've got to work on, child. My mouth done got me in trouble too many days. God teach me.
You are funny, but this has been amazing. Another edition of the Icon Theory podcast. We'll see you later.